I find Tommy Robinson a fascinating individual, and I've known people who've known him and who have very positive attitudes to him and very negative attitudes to him, whose attitudes have changed to him, and so on. And I find it extraordinary how one individual can produce such extraordinarily divisive responses in a population. So when approaching him, or when approaching any comment about him, you encounter this blend of controversy, charisma, and divisive populism. And Robinson often casts himself as a lone patriot, standing up to a hostile establishment, embodying a paradoxical position. To some, he's a freedom fighter, resisting a perceived erosion of British sovereignty and culture. To others, he represents a dangerous reactionary figure, fueling discord. Of course, the whole populist movement goes all the way back to ancient Rome, even ancient Greece. People like Sulla, people like Julius Caesar himself, but also individuals who are almost unheard of today, who tried their luck, who appealed to the people, and who were rubbished. Robinson's rhetoric centres on a narrative of suppressed truth about issues like immigration, framing himself as a martyr silenced by government and media alike. And the use of terms like the Great Replacement plays into widely disputed and incendiary theories, often criticised as alarmist and frankly factually dubious, contributing to the xenophobic undertones in what he says. His rallies, often branded as peaceful expressions of British values, but nobody actually expresses what British values really are, have historically drawn factions prone to disorder, often attracting counter-protests from anti-racism groups that also engage in this disorder and nastiness. This juxtaposition, supporters rallying behind patriotism, detractors labelling it fascism, highlights the dual lens through which Robinson's actions are interpreted and the assumption that you're on one side or the other. He's aware that being jailed could amplify his message, potentially validating his claims of being systemically oppressed. And his followers will pick that up and cheer that on, no matter how much time he does inside. The upcoming court proceedings also underscore Robinson's calculated use of the martyr complex. By positioning himself as a bulwark against government tyranny, Robinson taps into populist frustration, especially surrounding sensitive topics like immigration. And frankly, I must say, I have sympathy with him because I think the legal process and the police process that has dogged him has been excessive. In fact, if anything, that gives him more credibility, and I think he knows it. And we're in a sort of Julian Assange situation where he could well find himself incarcerated, but not really know why. And his choice to stir up fears risks escalating tensions without constructive solutions, undermining genuine discourse on any of the issues that he's raising. In essence, Robinson's appeal lies in his ability to dramatise British concerns into a battle of patriotism versus oppression, or to invent British concerns. As I say, we keep coming back to these British values, and nobody expresses what they are. The Conservatives talk about, or Kemi Badenoch and Robert Jenrick talk about British values or conservative values, and nobody explains what they are. We're all supposed to instinctively know. His case, whether this is a fight for truth or an opportunistic narrative, exemplifies the challenge of balancing free speech with accountability. And it's a complex equation that he continually manipulates to reinforce his image as both patriot and persecuted. And so I think this is always the problem with Tommy Robinson. No matter how much one condemns him, no matter how much one tries to pull the rug from under his feet, there's that sneaking feeling that he's being hard done by. And I think you need to start with that understanding that that probably is the case. He is being hard done by. But he's also stirring up dangerous rumblings and fermenting discord on all sides. And that's the job of the populist, isn't it? And that's something that Roman society found it couldn't deal with. And our society is probably going to find it cannot deal with. In the end, it was a populace that destroyed the Republic and effectively created the empire, the imperial regime. That was Julius Caesar. I don't think Tommy Robinson is a Julius Caesar. I think he's a pawn in a much bigger game, and I think his story is not something that is going to end well. And as such, of course, I have a lot of sympathy for him. But I think he has acted foolishly. And those people who have been telling me on here, oh, were you at the march? You wouldn't know unless you were there. It's not true. It's not true. I can read what's going on, I can see what's going on, and I can talk to people who know Tommy. And frankly, this is a sad and sorry story, and I'm so sorry to see so many people whipped up both for and against and marching on the streets. For what purpose? For what purpose? Is it going to make our lives better? No. No. We should be doing something constructive to make our lives better. Contribute to the improvement in the NHS, for example. Do something of value. Marching up and down the streets, screaming. You might as well go to a football match.